My first task today is talking about the enhancements or additions, changes to the Agrisuit software. Agrisuit enhancements used to be called Nman, now it's Agrisuit. We're starting to bring more and more applications into the same suite of softwares. Nman used to be a combination of the nutrient management planning software and the MStore software kind of lumped together into one that got to be known as Nman. So now we're bringing more and more tools into this thing called Agrisuit. First thing I'll talk about today is we've brought MDS back into the program. For a number of years, people did not want it in the program, so we took it out. Now it's back in the suite. People wanted it back there. We can do, with MDS now, we can do all the things that we could do with Nman, like updates and push out updates without having to distribute a CD each time we did an update. So now when there's an update or a correction or a change to either Nman or MDS or whatever, we can push that out and you get notified when you log into Agrisuit when you're online. We've had to do a lot of changes that you probably won't see. You'll think that maybe the screen's acting a little bit different than it used to, and it is. We've made it a lot more accessible for people that need to use screen readers or need to use keystrokes, can't use a mouse or whatever. We've had a big push to make our software more accessible. We've gone through every screen, and every screen can be read. There's a lot more keystrokes that get you to the next field if you can't use a mouse. And there's a lot of keyboard shortcuts like there are in Windows and in Word, where you do a shortcut and you get to a function. Talk a little bit about that in a second, I think. Probably the most visible change when you go to open a file, it's not being saved as an NM3 file anymore, it's being saved as a .agri file. When you go to open something, it looks for both the NM3 and the Agri, but when it saves it as a .agri. We used to have some issues when the browser window is zoomed, when you've zoomed in so that the text is bigger. And as I approach my half century, my text needs to get bigger. So I'm starting to understand why people were having those issues. Anyway, when you've zoomed in on your browser a little bit more, the PDF generator used to have problems with the printing. Now that's allegedly fixed. Haven't seen a problem with it too much just yet. A couple other changes to the flag summary. Flags used to be sorted in alphabetical order by year, I believe. Now they're grouped by type. So each type of flag comes out in a group sorted by year. You can get to the flag summary from any screen just by doing this keyboard shortcut, Control-Alt-E. That'll take you straight to the flag summary, and you can check that out from there. There's been a number of updates to the data banks in behind the software. They're based on tables 1 and 2 that are in the nutrient management tables. When you get your regulation booklet, one of the sections in there is the tables document. That has been updated. Janet, did we bring new books?
There is new tables and a highlighted form of what changes were made in everybody's package.
Excellent, thanks.
So today while we're talking about flags, why do we still believe about flags from 10, 12 years ago?
It's a good point, Jasper.
The question, Dale?
Yeah, sure. Jasper's asking, why are we bringing up flags from 10, 12 years ago? And it's a very good point, Jasper. One reason is I don't work with files that old, and I don't realize that they're coming up. We probably don't need to have any more than 5 years worth of flags in there. It's a very good point. You going to send me an email on that? Well, I'm up here talking. I don't have something to write it down. Send me an email, or Maya's got it. Maya's got it. Excellent. Teeny.
Also, the NDS, what I'm finding out that is there are certain categories in the minimum distance separation that you don't have in your nutrient management strategy, or vice versa. For example, mink liquid manure, for example, partridges, and a couple of other ones. Also, with the new software, Agrisuit, especially when you get into organic or special farming, it's pretty well impossible to work.
I'll admit to the second one. It covers most everything. And when you get into some very special situations, yeah, it might not do it for you.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
the new software, there's no problem.
Yeah. If there's something that you're needing to do and you just can't, give me a shout and we'll see if there's a way we can get it. But it won't happen tomorrow, it'll happen in the next update. Interesting about the mink liquid manure. Have you tried that in Agrisuit since the MDS showed up? Have you tried it in NMAN since MDS got there?
I'll have to look back. I ran in one a couple of weeks ago with partridges, and partridges is, for example,
Right.
in minimum distance separation, but it's not in
Yeah, partridge I'll admit to, but one of the things I'm going to talk about here in a minute is how we've included liquid mink in the software. So just wanted to make sure that it was actually there. Okay, so back. Rick.
Then if I put in a new farm and I do the regular nutrient management, and then I've got the MDS beside it, is there any way I can copy the information from the one into the other, or do I continually have to go put it into it?
Rick's question is, can you move information between worksheets in the different worksheets in NMAN, or Agrisuit, sorry. Not yet. Hopefully next time. Yep.
While we're complaining, we might.
No, there was time for questions, Jasper. There's no time for complaining. What do you got?
The log numbers are not in numerical order.
Do you know what order they're in?
Yeah. If you look for log
Yeah.
5, you gotta look all the way.
It's alphabetical by number. It's dumb. Yeah, I get it. It's dumb, but they're still in an order, and you know where to find them. They're not random. But yes, I understand. I get that one too.
The other question here,
Susan.
it's not a question, it's a statement, because I think there's probably a lot of these little glitches, but if we discuss every one, we might. Is there a forum where we can see what each other's having? If things could get answered instead of spending an hour doing this.
Sure. The best thing right now is to send somebody an email, like me, Maya, Robin, well, whoever's in the approvals unit. It'll get passed up to the team lead. Right now, that's me. I'm on the Agrisuit committee, so that's kind of something that I can take to them. Things like things are sorted in an odd order. There's a reason for it. I don't know what it is. But if it upsets you, let us know and maybe we can change the sort order on it. But I think I think the best way to do it is send me an email, dale.mccomb@ontario.ca, and I can feed that back up to the NMAN committee or the Agrisuit committee. Word of warning, we have a lot of things that we have to do, and we'll go through each time we redo something, we set a priority list. Changing the sort order on numbers may not make the priority list, but that's all right. We need to know what's not working for people, and we'll fix it if we can. It's a good point, Susan. Let's limit the why does it do this questions to a more personal form. Okay, back into the table updates. Okay, so we've updated the manure data bank. Chris Brown works with the labs in Ontario that analyze manure. She gets their data. She gets location, she doesn't get names. So she knows what township, I believe, the manure came from. Anyway, so she gets the results of the manure analysis, and she compiles that, and as often as possible, we update the nutrient data bank in behind the calculations when you're spreading manure with using the data bank from Agrisuit. We've updated those numbers. Some of them, things like liquid swine manure, there's thousands of samples in there, so the average is getting pretty tight. I noticed some of the more specialty livestock, there's not a great deal of data in there, so there's only 3 or 4 samples of some things, but it's a data bank. It's as accurate as it can be. We get as much information as we can. We summarize it the way that we can. So we've updated that. There's been some changes to livestock parameters. We've updated housing and management styles. We've added things like floor-run laying hens. We've added things, I'm sure we've added liquid mink, things like that. We've updated some of those things. We've made updates to animal size, and we'll talk about that on the next screen. Just trying to think what other updates we did. I've got it written down here. Oh, yeah, so dairy cows. Average size of dairy cows, we were told, was going up. And again, just to step back and tell you the process behind this. We don't just sit there and think about what numbers we can change just to mess people up. It seems like we do sometimes. It's not our purpose. We heard from industry that dairy cattle were getting bigger. We passed that to, used to be called the M-Store Committee. It's the group of engineers and specialists that work with the livestock groups and came up with, yes, dairy cows are certainly bigger than they used to be. So we've increased the weights of dairy cows, of large frame dairy cows, to 1,350 pounds. Whatever that is in metric, I'm sorry, I didn't write that down. We've made a couple corrections. Small frame dairy cows like Jerseys, we had the wrong number of animals per nutrient unit. So there's been a slight change there. We've corrected it to what it should be, and it's now at 1 animal per nutrient unit, I believe. Updated the mink information. We've included animal units, or animals per nutrient unit for turkey breeders, and we've updated some swine information. That's going to be on the next slide. Oh, I had it all on here. Okay. Okay, so we can skip down to this one. We've updated some swine information. Again, industry told us swine are bigger now. Finishing hogs are bigger now than they used to be. We've increased the average size of finishing hog, increased the average weight. Animals are bigger. They're eating more, they're excreting more nutrients. So we've decreased the number of animals per nutrient unit in swine finishers to, I believe it's 5 1/4. Increase the housing allowance. The pigs are bigger, so they take up more room. So that's where those changes come from. They were thoroughly vetted by industry. They were suggested by industry, and Ontario Pork, back up. We posted on the Environmental Bill of Rights. It was an EBR posting for however long we had to post it there. We had a couple comments. One was from Ontario Pork. We worked with them to make sure that what we were doing was acceptable. They said it was, so we made those changes, said that's what the industry is doing. The software should reflect what the industry is doing. Other thing that we changed was we decreased the weight of non-SEW weaners. Again, just management practices have changed, so we updated the tables accordingly. Okay, that's the end of the updates. You've peppered me with questions a little bit. Probably should do one more quick little talk on just the structure of Agrisuit. 6-7 years ago, we chose this web-based beast that was run on a product called Silverlight, which was on every computer. It was a Microsoft-supported bit of software. It's going to last forever. It's going to be wonderful. Microsoft has said we're not going to support Silverlight past 2021. So we thought, okay, we got till 2021, but as most of you are finding out, the major browsers, including Microsoft, are not running Silverlight anymore. You may have to give us a call to figure out which browser or how to get Silverlight on the computer so you can run Nman, so you can get your updates. Anyway, big push this year to come up with a new platform that's going to last for a while. We're trying to come up with how we can get it on phones, tablets, computers, trying to figure out what we need. So again, if you've got a constructive idea that says, Dale, I'd really like to be able to run this on my tablet because, not just because it's handy or because I like my tablet or because I've got my email on or whatever. I'd like to run this on my tablet because I can pull information from here, and I'd like to be able to move this information into here as well. Constructive comments like that are more than welcome because we need to know what our users are looking for. Okay, that's it for me right now. Any more questions?